This presentation is being made possible by a partnership between Southwest Institute for Families and Children, the Arc of Arizona, and the Arizona Center for Disability Law as part of a project on supported decision-making. The topic of this video is deciding if supported decision-making is right for you. This project was supported and funded by a grant from the Arizona Developmental Disabilities Planning Council in partnership with the partnering organizations. As a reminder, the concept of supported decision-making is exactly what its name implies. It's about individuals with disabilities making their own choices with help from people they trust. It rests on the basic belief that individuals with disabilities can make decisions about the various aspects of their lives. But supported decision-making is about receiving the right type of support and the proper amount of it to make those choices for your own life and to live as independently as possible. Supported decision-making isn't the right choice for every person. For many people, it offers the authority over their own lives that has not been granted to them in the past. For others, it requires greater capacity than they possess, or a higher level of intervention than is practical. In the end, supported decision-making requires that a person with a disability be able to communicate wants and needs, to be able to make decisions for himself or herself. Of course, no person with a disability is expected to know everything about all aspects of independent living. They're also not expected to make all the right decisions throughout their life. Life is very complex, no matter who you are. All people, whether they live with a disability or not, have to deal with a variety of issues and circumstances. And all people make mistakes. It's a natural part of life. Supported decision-making cannot eliminate mistakes, although it is designed to help people with disabilities make the very best decisions as often as possible. One of its greatest strengths is its ability to help people with disabilities learn from and grow from mistakes when they are made. We'll talk more about this later. Start by asking yourself this question. Given the right support, can the person with the disability make decisions for himself or herself? If you answered yes, supported decision-making might be the right choice for you. There are several other key elements to deciding whether or not supported decision-making is the right choice for an individual. The first and most important thing to consider is the ability for the person with a disability to express their choices. It is vital that you discuss the capacity of this person to communicate their wants and needs. Second, if you decide supported decision-making is the right choice, it's important to talk about the kind of support the person with a disability will need. Third, you'll need to determine how much support the person will require and how often he or she will require it. Some people may be able to do certain things on their own very well, but need support in other areas. For example, if the person chooses to live on their own, they may need support in finding an apartment or making sure they pay their rent on time every month. Or if the person has medical appointments, they may need support in getting to their appointments on time or need support making sure they understand what the doctor is telling them. Planning is key to successful supported decision-making. During your planning discussions, you will need to consider many different topics, all of which can have an important impact on an individual's life. And planning may require the participation of a variety of people who are involved in the life of the individual with a disability, the person himself or herself, family members and caregivers, personal and family friends, teachers or counselors, religious or faith leaders, coaches, recreation specialists, employment specialists or employers, financial and legal advisors, healthcare professionals such as medical, dental, and psychological or psychiatric professionals. No two people will have the same needs. To help think about the type of support the person with the disability will need, try creating a list. Your list should include the part of their life in which they will need support and how they would like that support. Here's a simple demonstration of how you and your team might envision these needs. Areas such as finances, medical, and employment are taken into account, along with how the individual would like to receive support in those areas. Ultimately, it's up to the person with a disability to decide what kind of support they would like in their life. But talking about the type of support a person will need should be an ongoing conversation because needs change over time. The person may need more support or less support as time passes. You can use this chart to identify the areas of support where the person with a disability will need help. Also, write down how they would like to receive that support. A copy of this chart can be found in your curriculum guide. Feel free to add as many spaces as you need to make it work for your situation. The planning process is indispensable, and it's important that a variety of people be involved. But throughout the process, everyone needs to remember the individual with the disability is the ultimate decision maker. Supporters play an important, even vital role, but they are only there to provide support and not to make decisions for the person with the disability. Also bear in mind that supported decision making can only be truly effective if the individual has some capacity through either natural or assistive means to express their wishes and desires. Now, every person's life has many facets, and this variety needs to be considered in the course of planning. An individual may need assistance in a wide range of areas. Moreover, that assistance may be greater or lesser depending upon the area of life. Try to account for as many as possible as you go, many of these as possible as you go through this exercise. Finally, understand that planning will take time. Give it the time it deserves. Don't try to rush it or you'll regret it later. Invest wisely at the outset and it will pay solid dividends throughout the course of the individual's life. For additional information on supported decision making, visit the Southwest Institute for Families and Children website and look under the Supported Decision Making tab. You can also find information on Facebook at Arizona SDM. Thank you for being part of this presentation. If you'd like more information on supported decision making, please feel free to contact any of the partner organizations on this project.